Balak, we find a very significant story related to us by the Torah, how Balak, the king of Moab, together with Bilam, the great sorcerer, the powerful person who had the ability to curse and to bring bad things upon people, chas v'sholem, joining together in a union to curse and eradicate chas v'sholem b'nei Yisrael. They thought that with their evil schemes and tricks and sorcery, they would be able to overcome the Yidden and to destroy them, chas v'sholem. And the Torah relates to us this story to show us how nothing goes without the will of Hashem. No one has any power, any ability, any type of sorcery and magic over anything without Hashem Yisborach's permission. All these things we find in the world, power of magic, sorcery, that we find throughout the generations that there was, these are all kinds of things that Hashem Yisborach gave into the world. Laman ha'bechir v'hanesoyin, that a person should have free will, free choice. He could see all these things and think for a minute, chas v'sholom, that maybe they do have some kind of power by themselves. Maybe there is something to it, and we have to be afraid of them. And therefore we're taught in this parsha how Hashem Yisborach showed us that ultimately everything is only in the hands of Hashem. And Bilam and Balak, who happen to be that in the Zohar it says that Bilam and Balak, the combination, the union between them actually is the source of Amalek, because the Balak has the Lamed Kuf in his name. The two letters Lamed and Kuf. Bilam have the Ayin and the Mem, and together they create the word Amalek, because it's all one family, all one source, one type of evil power in the world to destroy the honor of mankind, to destroy the good in a person. That was Amalek, and that was Bilam and Balak, as we see the low and filthy ways of their lives, as related to us in many places in the Torah, the immorality, the lowest, the pits, and how they wanted to lure the Bnei Yisrael, chas v'sholom, into their trap, and also cause them to sin, chas v'sholom, against Hashem. And that was their curse, that was their rutzin, as at the end, when all their tricks didn't help, they tried to seduce the Jewish nation with their immorality, and succeeded to a certain extent, and Klal Yisrael suffered greatly from it. But Hashem Yisborach showed us in this week's parsha, in Parshas Balak, how we shall not fear any power from any nation of the world. We should know that we are entirely in Hashem's hands and He protects us. And even if the biggest sorcerer seeks to curse and to do all his magic powers against us, chas v'sholom, he becomes powerless, nothing before Hashem. As Bilam was showed here when he went with his osain, his donkey, to curse the Jewish people, and of course his donkey, who was certainly more innocent than him, saw the Malach Hashem, the angel of Hashem, blocking the way that they should not travel further, and Bilam did not see it and began to hit his donkey until Hashem Yisborach opened up the mouth of the osain, and the osain began to rebuke his master, showing us that ultimately the osain, the donkey, had more seichel, more understanding than Bilam himself. Because when a person sins against Hashem and puts himself into the deepest pits of defilement and immorality, then he is worthless. He's much worthless than a donkey, than an animal, because the animal at least fulfills its purpose on this world, whatever it was made for, to carry people, to carry loads. But the person was created to recognize Hashem and to serve Hashem. If he does not fulfill his purpose on the world, then he is completely worthless. And the donkey rebuked him and told him, "Why are you going on this way? And Bilam, so to speak, he tries to get out of it and says that I'm going, whatever Hashem wants, that will happen, which actually was the truth, and that is actually what happened, that when Bilam wanted to curse the Jewish nation, out of his mouth came only brachos, only blessings. And we see a very interesting thing, that our daily prayers in the morning begin with a pasuk that Bilam said he wanted to emit from his mouth curses, but it came out the pasuk Matoivu lecha Yaakov, how good are the tents, your tents, Yaakov, your Bate Knesiyos, Bate Midrashos, your shuls, your houses of learning, how beautiful they are. Your homes, how tznius, how modest they are. All the things the Chazal tell us that from his brachas we knew what he wanted to curse, because everything came out the opposite. He wanted to put an evil eye in the shuls, in the house of learning, in the homes of the Yidden Chas v'Sholom, and everything came out the opposite. Because through the Bate Knesiyos, the house of prayer, the shuls that the Jewish nation come and they daven, they pray to Hashem. The houses of learning, the Bate Midrashos, where Torah is learned, the yeshivos, the schools where Torah is taught and given over to our generations. Our homes that are supposed to be a Mishkan HaShechina, a place for the resting of the divine presence. When our homes are built on the foundations of modesty, of tznius, then we bring the biggest blessings into our homes, into our lives. That even Bilam Harasha with the most evil eye cannot have any power on us. And this is a very, very important lesson for us to know in each and every day, that the more a person strengthens himself in emunah, faith in Hashem, and attaches himself to Hashem through the Torah, through learning Torah, through davening, through doing the mitzvos, no evil eye can be cast upon him, chas v'shalom. The Gemara tells us a story that Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa was once going in a ship, and there was a witch, a woman who practiced sorcery, and she said something and tied the ship in the water that it cannot move. And Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa called out, Einoid Lavada, there is no presence without Hashem, there is no entity without Hashem, there is nothing without Hashem, and all the magic, all the sorcery became batel, nothing. Because when a person attached himself to Hashem with pure emunah, with strong emunah, with faith and trust in Hashem, nothing in the world can harm him. And just the opposite, all the bad things, all the kololos, the curses, become completely transformed into brachos. Therefore, all we have to do is to attach ourselves to Hashem Yisborach, to pray to Hashem with simplicity, learn His holy Torah, fulfill as many mitzvahs as we can. And then we will see how all the blessings of the Torah will be brought upon us, and all the curses of the nations of the world that have tried throughout the generations to destroy us will be returned to them, and we will be recognized as the nation chosen by Hashem to spread His faith throughout the entire world, and the true honor and kavod of Klal Yisrael will be returned to them with the coming of Mashiach, speedily in our days. Amen v'amen.